I'm Red Beard the Hippy here with Karina, Sher from RageBreed Records, and also the lead vocalist for Mindlapse and Lake of Dreams. So it seems like you kind of have a pretty full plate going on with musical endeavors.
I do, yes. Absolutely.
Well, does being the record label person uh, help with your band, or do you deal with your bands on the record label, or like how do you manage that?
Well, I was actually signed to Holy Records when I was around, God, I think it must have been 15, 16 years old. So I got signed very young. And back then, I was sort of learning with the label as well. So, but I think for me, I was kind of doing a lot of work as well anyway. So I just figured that I just wanted to create my own label. It was always something that I wanted to do later on in life. And it just seemed a good time to do it. So I just basically create the label, put my music initially into that, but then I wanted to obviously bring more bands on and everything. So yeah, so just basically, just basically created the label, enjoying getting interviews and things like that, and making sure I'm pushing the artists. I mean, to be honest with you, it was through myself that we got into the mainstream press before, like Kerrang, Hammer, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just doing what I've always done, I guess. So yeah, just put it under my brand, and then that gives me more flexibility to run RageBreed the way I want to run it.
Well, that's fair enough because I know anymore record labels kind of have this weird stigma behind them where a lot of people it's either because unfortunately the way that everybody's mindset is like the 80s and you got the millions of dollars from the record labels and all this stuff, and it's not like that anymore. So do you have to explain that to bands that you get ready to bring on, or do they kind of understand that more now than?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm quite open with it. So we're an artist first label that deals with independent bands. So it's kind of like you're bringing in independent bands that want their own flexibility. We're not an old school label where we're like, here's loads of money. We're about risk management, so we work with the artists. We don't ask for fees at the front. And they get 70%, we get 30%. And it literally is working with, because for me, it's more about, I'm an artist myself. So this isn't born from someone who is just totally just about the business. This is born from someone who is an artist herself and how I would want to be treated. So I basically thought, how would I want to be treated if I joined a label, and I basically put that in the structure of how I run things because, I've been offered lots of deals from different labels. But a lot of it was like pay to play, that kind of thing, paying upfront costs. And we don't do that with our bands. We kind of say, look, we want to work with you. We want to help you and support you. And that's how we deal with things. We're not that kind of label where we would say you have to, cough up this amount of money. So that's pretty much the difference between us and old school labels, because we're not. I think it all comes down to budgets. I mean, like, when you've got the bigger labels and stuff, obviously they've got plenty of budget for that kind of thing because they're doing mainstream. But obviously we're in a niche market. We're in a particularly niche market when you're dealing with like really heavy stuff. We have Earache Global. We've got Earache Global digital distribution. So we do it sort of digitally from them, and we basically help book them interviews, get them well known, and basically we're looking at doing gigs and festivals again as well, which we've done since '96, but I kind of took a break on it to work on the label, the magazine, radio, and then decided, right, back into events again.
No, '96 when like there was tons of amazing artists that are now the icon ones that were just kind of starting to get out in '96. because there's a lot of bands that I listen to that it's like, you know, you see them going out on tour now for their 30th anniversary for a certain album, and it's like, no, oh. So, like you were talking about like the heavier stuff, but then I also noticed you mentioned like Hammer magazine, which, knowing its reputation, it deals with just, it's more on the extreme heavy side. Like if it's heavy and whatever's past really heavy and super heavy, and so you're more into that style or that niche of I figured out where I'm going with this one.
No, I understand what you mean. So yeah, I mean, my tastes are very, very versatile. I mean, if you did, Lake of Dreams is very soft. It's very acoustic, proggy. It's kind of got that gothic element in there. But then you've got like Mindlapse, which is like progressive death, black metal. You know, it's very, very extreme. You've got both, but then you've got elements of like melody in there as well. So it's kind of like it's like cross between Opeth, old school Carcass, and I'd probably say a bit of a Monomath probably in there as well. Just because it's battle orientated, you know, that particular track, Rage of Masses, that's the new release, goes into that kind of era. It is very concept based as well.
So obviously with like the two completely different, in a sense, styles and sounds, that gives you immense artistic and creative freedom. Where like, do you ever just write something and you're like, oh, this is for this one, or you write something and you're like, I don't know which band this one would actually work with?
Well, because I'm writing a film with both the projects, so what's going on is I'm writing in relation to the script. So, for example, Lake of Dreams is a dark romance, and between he's like a soldier of the king, the first hand of the king, and he falls in love with the druidess who he's meant to murder. So it's a very weird situation.
So basically like how the world is at the moment anyways, so.
Yeah, pretty much. So like forbidden love, all that kind of stuff. But then you see what happens is she goes to the stage in the forest, and the sage gives her 3 cards, and each card represents a film that I'm writing. So the third one is the path of where she's to go to hell to learn how to defend herself. Because at the moment she's a druidess, she's very healing, but when it comes to what she'll be faced with in the future, she needs to know how to defend herself if she ends up being with this guy. So she goes into hell, and she's met with a spirit guide, and each spirit that she meets in hell that teaches her something is a song from the new Mindlapse album. So everything's kind of geared towards the characters of the film, and that'll be the new Mindlapse album. It's not just the characters, it's the situation. So Rage of Mass is about the war between the demons and the fallen soldiers and warriors, and they're basically fighting them. If they win, they get to go to the afterlife with their families. If they lose, the demons get to keep their souls. So it's very like, so when she goes into hell, she's like met with this like war. That's why this track's called Rage of Masses. So yeah, it's a very kind of influential based on the characters, if that makes sense.
No, but even like just explaining it, it's the level of what it sounds like is just immense and completely different. Like the two storylines are completely different. So like I'm baffled. Like I'm kind of at a loss for words on what to say on that one. Like I like the concept, and obviously that's got to make the album writing processes in a sense like easier on, because I know if you do a non-concept album, bands have to go, okay, well we're going to put this one here and then it flows well into this one, but then we have nothing that flows in. Like you pretty much have like the construct of the album already preset in a sense.
I've already written the full album actually. So each track's going to be kind of, one's probably going to be progressive death, one's going to be like more black metal based, one's going to probably be doom, you know. So I'm mixing it up a little bit because I like my artistic freedom. I don't like it when someone says you have to be put in a box. You can hear that from past Mindlapse recordings. Each album is very different, you know. But I love to explore. I think that's the beauty of adventure. I think that's what makes Mindlapse very different, because we're not saying, well, we are just this, you know. We've explored a lot of genres within, you know, right from '96 up to now. So yeah, I'm really excited actually, because the new album is just sounding badass. I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited to record.
That's always the coolest thing when you hear the artist is like, you know, usually some of it's like, oh yeah, we had a great time writing it, but it's different when like you see that level of excitement, like you could see the twinkle in the eyes and everything, and you're just kind of like, you know, kid in the candy shop type feeling vibe to it, where it's like, ooh, I really like this, and I want this one, and I like this, and
that's me pretty much, yeah.
But like I also like your thing where you're doing the different styles, and you said the creative freedom and the artistic freedom, and you don't want to be pigeonholed. And I think that's an important thing for artists, where they're trying. Granted, you don't want to try too far out of the certain boxes, but like at the same point in time, you still want to explore different things. Like I think for me,
absolutely.
There were certain bands that they'd put out an album, and when it came out, it was not this band, and you know, it didn't sound like this band. It was completely different. And then, you know, 5 years later, you go back and listen to it, and you're like, wow, this was awesome. Why did I not?
Yeah. What it is, I think, is when it's a bit like, I'll tell you how I felt like that. So when Paradise Lost went a little bit more electronic, or Opeth went a little bit more softer, and I was like, hang on a minute, you know. So I understand, but when you look at it from an eyes of a discovery point of view, it's like now when I listen to the electronic stuff from Paradise, I actually really enjoy it. But it's just at the time, because it wasn't a continuation of the past stuff, I was like, oh. But now it's like I went to see them live, and I just loved all of it, and I recognised all the tunes, and it was amazing. And I actually really valued the variety in the set, because I was like, actually, this is making me feel a lot like more in awe of them, because they're able to do that level of like exploration, and some of it hadn't given a chance. And when I heard it live, I was like, wow, this is absolutely brilliant. I mean, probably one of the best shows that I've gone to. And, you know, it's the same with Opeth. You know, whenever they play, I'm just always blown away. You know,
they're one of the few bands that I've never heard anybody say anything really negative about them.
No, there isn't anything. It's just a kind of a difference. Like it's a bit like when any band kind of release a new album. You know, I think everyone, and I don't know whether it's just because of the time and the era, they're always like, oh yeah, but the old ones are best, you know, because it's like you tend to find so many metalheads that I speak to that always revert back to the older ones. But I think it could be because of a time of their lives where life was a bit more carefree.
And I can name one band that everybody uses 90% of the time, at least from what I've noticed. Metallica.
Yeah.
Well, Ride the Lightning is the best album, or And Justice for All, and it's like, you do realize they have other really good albums too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I try to keep open-minded, because it's like, even if it's different, I listen to it for the experience, as opposed to saying, well, this is this band's sound. And I think the more you start thinking like that, the more you can kind of accept the change, I guess, and realise actually that they're trying something different. That takes courage, and you know, because I've done it, so you know, it's like, I mean, we were doing, we got 4Ks in Karina for, I mean, had a single called Last in the Miners Game. You're talking 1999 now, and we got compared to Satana, My Ruin, Biohazard, that type of thing, and you know, because that's the kind of stuff we were doing back then. But now it's like completely changed, you know. So it's a progression, you know, as an artist, I think, you know, and it just depends on what feels right for you, you know.
And it also depends on what's going on in your life too. Like, if you're
100%.
in your, we'll say, like, you know, from 20 to 25, you can't write the same as when you're 40 to 45. And if you are still writing that same style of music or that same partying lifestyle or those type of things, it's like you haven't progressed as a person in a sense. Like you're still kind of stuck in that time frame, and it's like you have nothing to show for it in my take on it. Like there's still going to be anger and stuff, but like, you know, you're not going out to the club and tearing up the dance floor because your knees are shot. So.
Well, I do now and again, but you know, it's not like every weekend or anything. I mean, I think I'm a bit too old for that now, but I certainly love my community, and I do try and show my face and stuff, and especially since they're playing my song at the local club as well. So, you know, it's like you got to support. But,
well, you got to kind of make those outings too, because that's what it's fun to also get out, and it adds to the experience of life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but I really enjoy promoting. So you know, I really enjoy that aspect of music as well. So this is kind of cool because it's like you get to write music, but you can also promote others as well, and that's the fun part, you know.
Well, and the other thing too is like I've noticed just from like in my area, I'm in the central part of the United States. So like there's a lot of bands that are in the area that are really good, but then I'm also finding bands from the East Coast, the West Coast, different ones from different parts of Europe, France, Ireland, just a very eclectic realm of everything. And it's interesting how many different styles there are out there and different sounds that bands have.
Yeah, isn't it just? I think it's great.
Well, and then you like hear one band and you're like, oh, if you like this band, then you need to check out this band. And then, you know, you send your friends over there and they check it out, and like two of them like them, and then they're like, oh, well, since we like this band, here, go check these guys out. And, you know, everybody works together as a group to basically build a community of music goers and followers and enthusiasts.
Totally, yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of main bands that I feel that aren't as good as some of the underground bands are.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I will always say this because I think, you know, there's so much underground talent out there. It's why I do what I do, because I just think that there's a lot of bands that deserve to be recognised because they work hard, and you know, you can see in the music they make, how they present themselves, that they're just as good, if not better, than some of the bands out there that are famous, you know. And I just think, well, you know, these guys deserve a shot, and I'm going to try and make that happen for them, you know. And it's really important to me because I think what's the most beautiful thing is a band, you know, when I don't know, like when you do a podcast for bands and they say thank you, that must make you feel great, right? And
the next coolest thing to go with the great is when you share it and then they share it and they thank you, and that's really cool. Like that's one of those like it hits you in the feelers.
Exactly, and that's exactly why I do what I do, because it's like when you've made someone feel happy about what you know they've achieved, or say they said, oh, you know, I've done this, and that feeling of joy that they get because you've made them, you know, feel really happy, and it's just, music is such a healer, but it's such a feel-good thing when you're working with other people and you're kind of rising together, you know, and that's pretty much what RageBreed stands for. You know, we like to help other people, we'd like to help bands, brands, you know, we're happy to, you know, work with anyone that, you know, respects our ethos, which is pretty much rise together and artist first approach and everything. And yeah, it works. And I just think I know exactly where you're coming from, because that is what hits you in the heart, isn't it? It's the feeling of knowing that you've made a difference. and that's important.
Or the fact that you took the time to, like, I'll do artist write-ups, and like I concentrate on, well, there's some of the bigger name ones that I've done, but like finding the local guys or the regional people in my area and doing one and just seeing the level of, one person said it made him cry while he was making his coffee in the morning because he'd never had something like that. So like that level of, like, it was just that he knew that he was onto something and they were doing something right because, you know, people are taking notice of it. And he goes, just you taking notice and sharing it and doing the write-up was extremely cool. So
oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
oh yeah, and it's especially when they're like, we didn't even think people really noticed. You share your flyers on my weekly posts that I do. Like, you're on there weekly promoting your band and your brand, and, you know, you're getting your name out there and your events out there, and it's one of those, like, I take notice to the people that are putting in that extra level of work trying to get that one or two more people in the door, or, you know, trying to get their name out there just that much more.
Yeah, definitely. And it really is about helping each other. And I just think it's a beautiful thing, you know, because it's motivated by passion for what you do, and it's motivated, you know, to help people and help bands and brands shine, and that's what it's about, really. You know, it's a great feeling.
Well, and I also think too that the moment that I lose being a fan, just like a fan in general, I should probably hang up whatever I'm doing because
Exactly.
I've lost something for it.
Yeah, you've always got to be passionate. I think that's the thing. I mean, you know, as long as the passion drives you to do what you love to do, I think, you know, I wake up every morning and I get excited about what I do. You know, I'm just thinking about either the script or doing music or promoting my artists or doing reels, you know, and it's so fun to do because, you know, you're doing something that comes from heart, you know, and then that's the most important thing, I think.
Well, yeah, that's like when I'm at my, I have to do it this way because it's the only way that it works when I'm at my job because I'm working hard. I'm usually on my phone. Well, long story short, they're not in good standings with me because they've kind of screwed me over a few times for different things. So I just attend, and then I'll, you know, work on write-ups that I'm doing for bands, or I'll do like the battle of the bands things where, you know, like you'll pick a couple bands and see, and I always find those to be interesting where you pick two bands that either people really love or really hate, and then pit them together just to kind of see which one people tend to go for more. Like I did one for I think it was Sepultura and for Soulfly, and I put a picture of the newer Soulfly or the newer Sepultura, and then without having Max as the vocalist in it, you can tell where people's lines are drawn on that. And to me, that's fascinating and interesting. Like, why is this band not this band when they still are?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to hear different points of view, isn't it? I mean, I think you're always going to get that. And like I say, it comes down to how people respond to change as well, you know. I think people struggle with it because they're comfortable, you know. And then when something happens that rocks the boat a little bit, they're like, oh, I'm not sure, it's not the same because of this. And they could actually be a really good vocalist, but it's more to do with people clinging on to what feels safe, I guess.
Or like you said, to a certain time frame for them, where they hold on to that time frame of. This reminds me of 2003 during whatever I was going through. Like that's my 2003, or that's
absolutely. I mean, I remember Monsters of Rock days. You know, people when I was in my teens, you know, going to see these bands, and that's the one where they did have Metallica on there. I think there was Therapy, Slayer, White Zombie, Corrosion of Conformity, I'm just trying to remember all these.
I'm like you're just like checking off all the the icons and the legends and the.
I mean that was probably one of my favorite shows. I mean I think it was '95. I think it was. But yeah, I mean like this that's what I mean. I mean I'm coming from the eras of those bands, and you know it's really interesting because some of them are still around and they're still, you know, making amazing records, you know, and you just think, wow, you know, this is proper legacy stuff, you know.
Yeah. And it's not that they're just making records, they're making amazing records still, and they're still putting out. It's not that they're, you know, like, unfortunately you'll see bands where they get said name and then they just write said name for as long as humanly possible, and then they'll put out an album under said name, and the album's not so good, but everybody's buying it because it's said name, and then it's kind of sad at times where you see them not either holding up their end of the legacy, or they're kind of, you know, in it for that money grab.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, and it's like I won't say who it was, but I mean I got offered a contract with, you know, major band, and they wanted us to kind of change our sound, like just a little bit, bring in one of those DJs that does the scratching, you know. I was like, that's just far too cheesy. Like I just couldn't get on board with it.
Can I take a stab at the time frame of when this might have been?
Yeah, it was around
like 2000, 2005, somewhere in.
Yeah, so it was when you know, when like Linkin Park made it very big, and
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. So they saw us live, and they're like, oh, we can, you know, female fronted this, you know, and yeah, I was just like, no, like straight away it was like creative control, and we were seeing a lot of red flags and stuff, and I was just like, no, I just don't think it's gonna work. Like, probably would have been famous, like massively famous because of the band, but then I was like, if you lose your freedom to write the way you want to write, is this really for me? So I guess it's one of them.
What are you willing to sell of yourself to have the pockets be lined?
Well, this is the thing. Like, it's one of the reasons why I stand very strong with my ethics. If anything, like in any way tries to put me off that wrong road, like I'll just get rid. Like I'm very ruthless with that, because it's more to do with integrity and knowing who you are, and you know, you've got to have that kind of moral code within yourself to know that this is right or this is wrong, or this is my boundary, and you know, and if it doesn't align, you know, with anyone, you know, like it for me, it's I maybe might be a little bit. Some people are like, oh, well, you know, you could have done this, you could have done that, and I was like, yeah, but would it be worth it if it means that I sacrifice my integrity, you know? And RageBreed is very much about artists first, so it is about letting them have creative control. It is about putting them first, as opposed to, like, you know, being this label that just wants to take, and you know, that's not what we're about. We're about
the artists get 8% of whatever and don't own any rights or any of those things.
Yeah, like we give basically we don't function like an old school label. We the artists still, like I say, we're a label for independent artists, so they can keep full of their rights, but we're just helping them to you know, get promoted. They release their stuff through RageBreed Records. They get earring digital distribution. They get, you know, they have an online team that we have that shares their stuff online. You know, it's literally, and because we've got such a huge media network, I mean, they get to go in the RageBreed magazine. They get to be plugged on all our shows and things like that. So they've got access to loads of DJs who want to play them. We've got the RageBreed TV, so you know, they can get TV interviews with us. So we've already got kind of a good foundation to help them succeed, because we're affiliated with so many people. it means that they're able to get that kind of recognition with our affiliates as well, and obviously through their networks, because some of them, they also have affiliates too. So it's like you might do one show with one podcaster, but they may have that show featured on, I don't know, 10 or 20 different stations, and then you're seeing that band like being shared over all those stations, and through their channels and newsletters and things. So it's a really cool kind of setup we've got. I mean, it's sort of really does help like an independent artist. I mean, we're not saying we're like massive like Kerrang or anything like that, but we are trying to help as much as we can, and affiliations and networking and things like that is where it's at, as long as they obviously are in line with our moral code and our ethics and RageBreed ethos. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've noticed like a lot of, because I also do photography and videography at concerts, and I noticed like some of the local shows and more of the underground shows, I have no issue getting into bars, getting into, we'll go the certain areas that only the artists are allowed to. I can walk in there and go about and do what I need to. But like you get certain bigger venues and it becomes more of a problem because I do a lot of stuff on my own and I don't have a whole lot of affiliates, or like the ones that I do are all in the underground. So like there was one place that I went to go get a press pass, tried to get a press pass with, and they're like, "Well, do you have any affiliations?" I'm like, "I'm a solo YouTuber that interviews bands and does all this." Well, since you're not affiliated with anybody, we can't get you in. I'm like, who else calls you guys up and tries to get a press pass? Like,
yeah, no, that sucks. I mean, I remember when we were like just beginning, the same thing happened, like, oh, well, you don't have this many followers, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden we kind of went, we just literally like spiraled. I mean, and then all our pages and groups are growing, and then Instagram's going, and it's growing steadily. It's not like, but then you add that with all our affiliations, and then that's growing. So that's what I had to consciously do, was to start, bringing a network together and stuff. So I was able to do, a few more of the high profile interviews. But I mean, to be honest with you, right from the get-go with RageBreed magazine, I mean, we had so many, because I'd already kind of established some contacts in the past and stuff anyway, it was a lot easier for me to do that. But obviously, as I've kind of, what's the word? I think the more that we've been releasing, I mean, we've only done 3 magazines, so we're still in our early baby stages, if you like, like a little infant crawling,
Yeah.
But like, in terms of, the affiliate network, it's quite big, I think probably together we're looking at a few million and stuff, but
just a few million.
Well, that's only because of our affiliations as well,
Oh, I know. It's just always funny where like you sounded so humble saying it, where you're like, "Oh, it's only like a few million. Like it's no big deal."
Compared to like what we used to be, though, I mean, it used to be. I remember when I was excited with 200 followers on one of my pages. It's like now,
I put this video out and it got 100 views, and Facebook notified me that I got 100 views on this one, or it notified me that I got 200 views. I get excited when I get those still, where it's like, okay, you hit 100 views.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because I got 100 views.
Yeah, well, still bloody good, like compared to some people out there, And then the thing is, the reason why it kind of went a bit viral was because we got on the main stage screens at Bloodstock Festival, and that's in the UK. And
I've seen the flyers for Bloodstock. That one's loaded and top tier artists, and wow, that's what I have to say for.
Yeah, it was really cool. We got so we were advertised there on the main stage screens, and that happened about 16 times during the whole festival. And then all of a sudden, my reaches just went up to like 450K on my personal page. And I was like, whoa, this is like mad. Like, and then I was getting people asking to take pictures of me at the festival and stuff like that. It was really bizarre. And then you start, and that now you sort of see the fame levels grow. Because if I go to any kind of like gig or anything, I always get someone wanting to take a picture, and I still find that really weird. But yeah, that does happen now.
But it's cool though. Like it's gotta have, like you gotta have that feeling where you're like, I'm doing something right if people are wanting to come up and take pictures. Like it's not loading the ego, but it's like there's still that humbling thing.
Yeah. Well, there's two sides of it. I mean, I think the thing with fame levels when they start growing, this is what they don't tell you, is that your followers increase, but so do your haters. You get both alongside on the way. But nobody ever prepares you for that, because they only when you get people in the main what's it called, like when they start reaching a certain amount of success. And then when I started to talk to the biggest stars about it, and I said, how do you deal with all this hate? Because you've posted a video and there's all these people saying these horrible things, How do you handle that? Like, because when it started happening to me, I was like, what the hell is this? Because I'd never experienced anything like this before. And I was thinking, people are so cruel, and obviously I'm a very sensitive soul, so I was just like, it broke my heart. I wasn't used to it, and then I had to get used to it, and it was the training that I had to do, understanding it, and thinking, okay, this is social media, you get kind of like trolls and you get fans, and you're going to get a mix of both, and that's just the way it is, and I had to sort of get comfortable with that mindset, but nobody ever prepares you. And every star that I've spoken to, they've said exactly the same thing. They said they never tell you about this. They never tell you about the whole social media aspect and the good and the bad. And when I started interviewing, women in metal and even just looking at the reels of some of the female artists, like, some of them had stalkers and death threats and things like that, you think, wow.
And there's also a thing too, like with the photography, like you can't wear certain outfits or do certain poses because you expose certain areas, and
right, yeah,
women are, I've noticed as a photographer, women are very self-conscious with how they look when they sing. Like, if a guy's singing and he looks like he's ready to, rip somebody's head off, everybody's like, yeah, that's a great shot. But if a woman looks like, she's kind of got this weird look, or, a double chin type thing going on, or, just all these different things that, like, you have to take into consideration when editing photos. Like, okay, which ones do I release? Okay, this one's a really good one. I like this one. I don't think she'll be too mad at me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I know about that. Yeah, I mean, I think women are really witch hunted a lot of the time. I think it's very difficult for women, especially because it's almost like they've got to kind of be perfect all the time. Whereas if a man isn't perfect, it doesn't matter because it's metal. You know what I mean? It's like, but if a woman looks a little bit rough, or her makeup isn't right, or she has a bit of a chin, or she's not
got
like
sweat under her armpits, like that area, because she's been doing a 2-hour long set. Like, oh my God, she's sweating. How dare she do that?
100%. It's
Sher doesn't sweat. Look at her.
She's on stage screaming her heart out, probably, as well. Like, that fucking, she's running about on stage.
But I'm pretty sure Sher's made completely out of plastic by now, so I don't think there are any sweat glands left.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, but it's like I say, like, you do get a lot of double standards, but you just got to be strong enough to just kind of be like, what, I am what I am, and whatever your judgment is your issues, really. And as long as you kind of have that mindset, you just crack on, enjoy what you're doing, and just accept that there's going to be good and bad, and that's just part of life,
Well, I learned when it comes to like music and stuff, if I don't agree with, say, a comment you made on social media, Okay, scroll. Like
Yeah.
I don't have to, angry face and get on there and, you know,
Start
call you
trolling.
names or something like, oh, you're a stupid blonde or, something like, be
Yeah.
degrading or, any of those type of things. It's like, well, what good is that going to do? Like, okay, you think this band is the best band of all time? I don't think so. Cool. I'll like your post because you came out and said that's your favorite band, and I'm gonna keep scrolling regardless of.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my God, if like, I think the thing is, there's so many people that get really offended if like you don't like the same band as them. And I've had situations like that. Like, it's like, and I'm just like, I'm really sorry, but I just don't agree. And they can't agree to
You're wearing
disagree.
that shirt. Name 27 songs that band has put out. Um, they've only put out one album and it's got 8 songs on it.
Yeah. It's really funny, isn't it? It's just like some of the kind of elitism, I guess. And also the narrow-mindedness, because it's kind of like, it's interesting because I remember once I got blocked because I didn't like baby metal. Well, no, I do like baby metal. It's not that I didn't like them. I just didn't think, like, they weren't my favourite band, basically. Like, I wouldn't say, like, I'd put them in my top 5. And I was just like, no, I think they're good. I'm just not, like, really, really excited about them.
They're
I
not
enjoy
your
what
cup of tea.
Yeah, like they're cool, and everything. But I got blocked for this comment, like, and they were like, oh, you're really elitist. And I was like, well, no, I'm not, because I love grunge, I love, like, all kinds of music. It's just there's some bands that resonate with you and some bands don't.
Prime example, I got the opportunity to take all 3 of my kids, which has never happened, to the same show because all 3 of them are like, we want to go. We went to go see Theory of a Dead Man and Skillet. And all 3 of my kids through the roof on these bands. Like, we get to see them. And I'm kind of like, okay, they're on my list. Like, they're not high on the list, but, like, they're on the list. And my kids love the performance and everything. And they're like, what'd you think? I was like, what did you guys think? That's the important thing. And they're like, oh, this was the best show ever. And they're going on about how great it is, and they go, what'd you think? I was like, don't worry about what I think. As long as you guys had a great time, that's the important thing. And a couple days later, they ended up asking me, and they're like, so we couldn't get past it. What was the take on it? I was like, it was a bit of a letdown, because, like, I'd seen some of the live footage before, and I didn't think they lived up to the hype, but that's just my opinion. They still put on a great show. I'm not taking anything away from them, but to me, like, with all the stuff that I'd seen, it was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. No, I hear you completely. And that's the thing, you're always going to have differing opinions, but it's kind of like, I think people need to be more like, let's agree to disagree. Like, and if they followed that approach to be like, okay, this is my opinion. Because I always say this, you put 16 people in the room and you make them watch a film, for example, right? They're going to have 16 different opinions. It doesn't make them wrong or right. It's just their opinion on something. So I think people need to be a little bit more sort of like, well, I understand,
Well, yeah, and like for me, it was more important to keep my opinion quiet so they could have their moment of, this is the best night of their life. Like that was to me more important than me stating my opinion and just kind of like, I don't know. I was worried that it would screw up the night for them. So I figured my silence was more important than.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you wanted your kids to have a good time, and that's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, and they did, and it rained, and I tried sneaking my camera gear in, and I got caught doing it, even though I had a press pass to the rest of the stuff. And they're like, this isn't, you're not allowed to do this. I know, but if I didn't try, I'd kick myself for it. And they're like, you would have been fine if you wanted to stop. I was like, yeah, I kind of figured that. Oh, well, it was worth it. It was fun.
Good. How'd you enjoy yourself?
But yeah, and that's also something too, like I try to get involved with like what my kids like too, and I feel that that's very important, even if they don't like the same music I do. It's
Mm, mm. Yeah, it's just having that open mind, isn't it? And just sort of being open to it and stuff.
but it is always funny because like we were talking about like the gatekeeping thing. Like one of the kids, there's a group that's coming through that they really want to see, and it's ICP. And I was like, name your 3 favorite songs. I wanted to know her 3 favorite songs. Not trying to like gatekeep. It's like I want to know what your 3. And she named them, and I was like, okay. She goes, you're gatekeeping. I was like, no, I didn't say name 3. I said I want to know your 3 favorite. And she's like, oh, that's well played. Like, I know. I changed it a little bit.
That's really funny. Yeah.
But so how is we'll go back into like I like how the whole segue into something, and I don't even know how it started, but like how do you do shows? Have you ever like done both bands on the same bill or the same festival or the same night?
No, so basically at the moment what's happening is Mindlapse and Naked Dreams. So I recorded with someone called John Mitchell. He's quite he's like a prog artist, I guess. He's signed by Sony and stuff. And he basically played on all of my, the 2 new singles that I'm going to today, as in today. So he played on the Mindlapse song and the Lake of Dreams song, and I did the singing, and he did all the mixing, and we did all that. So this year we're going to be doing more of the recording side and the mixing and things like that for the album. And then next year I'm going to be bringing in some session musicians to go live, because I kind of write all the stuff, and then when I do live stuff, it's either going to be some big names hopefully next year. So yeah, that should be really cool. But normally in the past, so in terms of gig wise, Mindlapse, we actually RageBreed put on the first tour for Insomnium and Omnium Gatherum, which one was in 2005, one was in 2006. So Mindlapse played with Insomnium, and then I was doing tour management for Omnium Gatherum in 2006, I think it was. So
because I have that album, or the Insomnium.
Yeah,
I think I have one of their albums.
Yeah, they've got some great tracks. I mean, there's a since the day it all came down is a good one. Daughter of the Moon. They were my favourite band back then. Like, it's so good.
You said Mindlapse, and I'm like now over here digging because I know I've heard that name somewhere. Now I'm trying to like go through the.
Yeah. So we did like a tour with them. So that's pretty much when, and we did play quite cool venues. We played like Rock City, Sheffield Corporation, Bradford Rios, the Coco in Camden. And we had some great times. It was so good. It was like being on a tour bus with one of my favourite bands, and just like having a great time. We just all chilled, and I know it was just amazing. It was just like some of the best times of my life, I guess. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that again, but obviously in 2027, because this year's going to be mainly about getting this album written, the film script written. It's all going to be about the creation, I guess, at this this stage. And then next year we'll be looking at doing some festivals and things like that. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that.
Which ones do you prefer doing? Like regular shows or festivals?
Festivals. And the reason being is because I like the fact that in festivals you usually have a bigger crowd there already, and it's kind of cool like that. And but then it's weird because it just depends really, because we did a headlining show at Rock City, and there was like people just standing up on the sides, and I remember it was in 2001. It was in February, I believe it was, and that was mind blowing. That was like like you couldn't even, it was so packed, people were standing like on the back of the ledges and things like that just to see the show, and we got encores, and the pit was just mad, and it was just one of the best times. I think it was one of my favourite shows, to be honest, just because of that. It was just, I never expected so many people there, and we uploaded loads of CDs, and yeah, it was incredible, you know, really cool. So I guess it just depends. You know, festivals are great because they have a different atmosphere, but there's a lot more people there, whereas, you know, that you can get really amazing gigs, you know, just the same like that. So yeah.
Well, and I noticed for festivals, if there's two sides of festivals for me. As the photographer, video guy for festivals, nightmare. Because I'm running all over the place, and it's like, okay, this band's on here, and then now this band's all the way over here, so now I gotta like run over to this next area and get over there and try to get some shots, and then I gotta run back over here, and like, because I love music and I love being part of it and doing those type of things. And for me, it's I get more opportunities, but it is way more work.
Yeah, totally. It's actually like when I'm doing like interviews with bands and things at festivals, same thing, and it's worse because like the Wi-Fi is so bad, and you're like, shit, I can't get through to somebody, and then and then the worst thing is the charging, and you're like, oh my god, I've got to find somewhere I could charge it, and I thought it was all full circle to begin with, and then you've got to go to the charging place, and now I've got 30 minutes to get this done. You know, it's, yeah, I hear you completely. It's more of a, it's harder, definitely. It's definitely harder, but I do enjoy festivals. I had a really great time at Woodstock recently, and also the Winter Gathering, so that was great too. I am going to be checking out different festivals because I've only kind of gone to Bloodstock and Download. And I do Damnation as well. That was very good. But you know, I kind of feel like I've never been to like a festival outside England, and I'm sort of tempted to go just to see what it's like, you know, because I just feel like, God, sometimes I see some European lineups or American acts and think, why am I not there? Like, seriously, this looks amazing. Seriously, it's just amazing. Some of the lineups, you just think,
With being over here, there's times where I'll see some of your guys' lineups, and I'm like, okay, I want to go to that show, and I'll look it up, and it's like, okay, Ireland and the UK, Spain. It's like, oh, that's not even coming over.
Oh, yeah, no, I hear you completely.
But it's also cool when you see those type of things and seeing that, you know, artists from different areas can come together at one area and everybody gets together to go watch it is something you don't get to see anywhere else.
Yeah, very true. It's so true.
And everybody's there to have a good time. It's not like they're there to, you know, start a fight. Like, if you go to one of your guys' football matches, like, it's this side or that side. And you don't want to be in certain areas at certain times after certain matches because it doesn't turn out well from what I hear.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, we recently started a podcast with Italian football, believe it or not. So we're trying to get sports into our podcast, as well as like we're even doing a paranormal thing going on, which is coming out soon.
That would be fun.
I know, I'm so excited. Like, as soon as, like, because I've been trying to think of ways to kind of do something a bit different and you know, bring the RageBreed Entertainment Hub a little bit more, you know. And I was like, yeah, I want to do all kinds of stuff. I want to do like restaurant reviews, I want to do paranormal, I want to do sports, I want to do self-defense, I want to do all kinds of stuff. And you know, and then all of a sudden we found some people to do it. And I was like, woohoo! So I was very happy.
Well, that's the funny thing about like my YouTube channel is like all the kids and everything were like, oh, if you're gonna do this, you gotta have this channel for it, and you gotta do this, you gotta have this channel for it. And it's like, I don't want to do like 12 channels for all the cool stuff that I want to do. Like, I want to have one channel. Like, I do toy unboxings, and I've got, like, as you can see in the area, I've got all these different toys here. I do music reviews.
Yeah, I was looking at that's so cool.
Like, I got, before that, I got done shooting some sports card videos. Like, there's a lot of things that I like doing, and I feel that you shouldn't have to pigeonhole yourself into one style of thing, and you should be able to experiment and do all the different things that you want. Like, I magnet fish, and I walk through cemeteries and and I do photography of headstones because it's interesting and fascinating, and actually very peaceful in the cemeteries because everybody leaves you alone because you're standing there with a camera taking pictures of headstones.
I hear 100%. This is why I'm so fascinated with the paranormal and stuff. So it's really cool to just have that happen like recently. So it's starting in April, so I'm looking forward to that. It should be kind of cool.
But you guys also have like all the really old places over there that's like the super haunted places that would be fun to go to.
Yeah. I mean, I've got an interesting story with Rage Fest actually, because I also part of a festival myself in England. I've had a few years away from it, but basically this Nottingham venue, this old Salutation Inn, has the bunkers downstairs of when the wars were. And they reckon that there's a spirit down there and stuff. And honestly, when I went down, I was like shivering. I was like, oh my God, it was so cool. I mean, it's amazing because they had like because there's so many like underneath Nottingham, there's a lot of like caves and stuff.
Oh yeah, like so catacombs and tunnels and everything.
So cool. I love it. I just love that. I used to live in Nottingham, you see, so I came back to Leicester, back to my hometown. But when I was living in Nottingham, oh my God, like you'd sometimes visit these bars and then they'd say, oh, you can go downstairs to check out, these caves and stuff. And they're amazing. They're so cool. I just love all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I've always found those type of things fascinating as well. And I like exploring different places. Like, I'll go out and do magnet fishing, and I keep telling people that when I have no cell phone signal, that's usually about where I'm good with. That means I know that I'm far enough away from people. But then, like, I'll find abandoned buildings or old farmsteads and homes, and I'll look for the no trespassing signs or look for people around, and then I'll kind of hop over the fence and go explore because it's interesting and fascinating. But then if people have asked me, they go, what if you find a gun out there? I'm like, then I'm calling the police because nobody throws a gun out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I remember I used to do, so I went to the Lake District, and there's an EP that we've got of Lake of Dreams, and there's a picture that I did, and it was basically what happened was, we went out on this boat, but just before we went out, I saw this like little part where there was a big lake, and you could see it was like snow-capped mountains, but then the sun was shining on it, and it just looks so magical. I can't even explain to you. And I just took a picture, and I thought that's going on the EP cover. I did it in black and white, but it was just so cool, and I just really loved it. And I love capturing moments like that, like especially with nature, like around there. So I went to the Yorkshire Dales. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
Yes.
Was a film.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know the bit where Kevin Costner and I think it's Big John, I think his name is, and they're having that fight over the river bit, and they're like,
okay,
yeah. So that's where they fought over the Yorkshire Dales, this area that I went into. So I took a picture of that, and that was really fun. And I mean, there's nothing better than just taking a camera out and exploring. It's just so much fun, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And you can just.
Yeah.
That's one of my camera bags. It's my to go because I went to there's an event called Soul Fest where they have like tarot cards and rocks and
amazing.
All the healing stuff and trying to figure out how to make it sound not so hippie-ish without it sounding so hippie-ish. and spiritual.
No, I'm not into that kind of stuff. So yeah.
But like the whole family went to it, and they asked me to take some photos. So I got my little to-go bag camera, and
Amazing.
all the kids are like, "Oh, where's your camera bag?" I'm like, they're like, "But it's so little. Like you carry a backpack with everything." I was like, "I know. Sometimes I don't want to carry the big backpack. I want to carry something light."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because I'm like I was saying with events, like I've got the batteries and the different lenses, and I think I carry like 3 cameras with me at a time, and a GoPro, and backup battery charger, so in case like the batteries go dead, I can plug them into the energy ports and throw them in the bag and let them charge while I'm still running around taking photos. So
yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, it's great to know that there's some stuff out there with all that kind of mind, body, and spirit stuff.
That's awesome. And they do it twice a year, and we ended up. This is the second time that we've gone to it. We went to the fall one that they had last year, and then when I ran into the person who was putting it on a couple weeks ago at a local concert, she was like, you're coming to it, right? Like, you're going to bring your camera? Like, she got excited that I was going to it. And I was like, yeah, the kids have already told me that we're going. Like, I don't have the choice. And she got all excited that we were going to be at the thing.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Yeah, because we do like a mind, body, and spirit thing as well. We kind of try to promote a lot of that as well. I do tarot card readings too, and I do life coaching sessions, and I'm all into all that kind of stuff. So it's really fun. That's why I got so excited with the paranormal stuff, because I did a parapsychology course actually, and I'm CPD qualified in it. So I really love all that. And it's interesting because the more people I talk to about this, like you realise that it's really popular, and you don't realise actually that there's so many people out there that are actually into this, but they just don't talk about it. But there is loads.
But they don't want to look. They don't want people to look at them like they're that crazy person who believes in the ghosts or.
Yeah.
But
I don't really care though. I'm just like, yeah, I believe in all that.
I've been looking up protection symbols, and those are the hardest things to look up, because you'll get like this protection symbol, but then you'll look on another site and it's the same symbol but has a different meaning, and then in this book it has a different meaning, and it's like,
yeah.
Like, I just want something so when I go to some of these cemeteries that are really weird. I've only had 2 instances where it was really odd. I shot a video at the end of walking through the cemetery, and like I ended up watching what I recorded later, and I was just out of it. Like, I had no clue what I was talking about. Like, it was the weirdest. I don't remember recording. Like, I remember recording the video, but I don't remember recording the video. And then I went to my second job, and they said that I was acting kind of funny for about an hour to 2 hours after it. Like, it was the weirdest cemetery. And I was like, that was when I was like, I need some protection symbols. I need some new tattoos.
Yeah. It's probably because you're channeling. Yeah, that's probably what happened.
And it was like, I saw this cat that, when cats look mangy after they died, like they're kind of that mangy decomposing look. And then I watched the same cat. Like, I didn't see it breathing. I stared at it. I took a couple pictures of it. And then the thing got up and walked off. And I'm just like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah. That is weird. Oh, my God. That cemetery, oh, my God, you could do horror in there quite easily.
I know where it is. And, like, I want to go back to it because I'm...
Yeah.
There's something off up there. Like... I want to go back and see what, like, if it's the same experience as the first time, or if I have a different experience there, because
I
don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I've had some we did like a talk show, I think it was Halloween, and there's this one girl talking about how she remembers something from her past life, was like, no way. And she was like, yeah. She goes, and then she said that she really wanted to see if it was true. So she went to this place that she really felt drawn to, from that she felt was in her past. And she goes, and I honestly believe that behind this cupboard there's going to be something there, and I think that I drew something there. And so she asked the owners whether she could go in and have a look and everything. And they moved the shelf and everything, and there, and right, literally like behind there, when they got into it, there was that thing that she had said that would be there, and that was like, whoa, that's next level, that's amazing. That's like
words. Yeah, those type of experiences, those are always fascinating. Like, how can you tap into it, but other people can't tap into it?
And I think it's a lot to do with how intuitive you are, and how open you are to receiving information. Because I think some people could, but I think they're too scared to. And some of it, they probably intentionally block it because they know they can't control it once it's open. But it's all about making sure that you close down a lot of the time. So, I think, it just depends on the individual. I think for people that are very, like, they like to control their environment, would rather say I don't believe in it, even if they know it exists, because then it's not something else they have to worry about. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like an avoidance to that.
Whereas it still gives them the control without them having to relinquish it. It's not like a bad type of control, but where if I can control what I eat or what I do or those type of things, that type of control.
That's different. But I'm talking about, like, say if they have had an experience and they know that it was real or whatever, they might just go into kind of a denial rather than maybe exploring that, And I've had conversations with people before. I mean, especially I used to know someone who used to work on building sites, for example, and even he said there were some really fucked up things on some of the sites that happened, and what he saw, but he'd still be like, oh, but I still don't believe in it. And I'm like, well, you've had that experience, so how can you not? And then he was trying to, and I think a lot of people will try and do that because I think it's outside their safety zone, It can be really frightening for people, but people who are used to it, like myself, and people who are kind of more intuitive or very open to that, or probably even do readings, it's just like, it doesn't even, it's not like a scary thing anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just people who've passed on, So for me, it's like, they're just people. It's just like having a regular chat to a friend. So for me, that's how I see it as, and I find it fascinating. I mean, even things like precognition dreams, and when I've spoken to people and they've dreamt things before they happen, I find that really interesting. I'm like, how the hell does that happen?
And it's weird when you have the dream and it happens like a year later, or like I've had that one time where I dreamt of a place that I went, and then like a couple years later I went to it, and like when I got into the building I stopped because it was one of those where it's like, I've been here. And everybody's like, no, you haven't. Like, even my parents are like, you're 12. You've never been here. How did you get how did you get 800 miles away from where we live?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I've been here because there's a sign at the bottom of the stairs that says this. And it was, they go over there and go, huh. And this was like pre-internet, so like you couldn't go and look up places. And it was the weirdest thing.
I know. I just find that kind of stuff really interesting. Because it happens so much to people as well. Like, I've had so many conversations, but like you said, it can be years later. So that is just like, how?
Yeah.
It's like, I still find that, like, it's like an answer question. Like, how is that? How does that happen? Because it's like, that means that, is there something set in stone then? Or is it just a time thing? Or is it, I don't know, but it's just really bizarre to me. I mean, psychic dreams I've had, but when I get the precognition, that's the weird one, because that sometimes doesn't even come to fruition until a year, like you say, like a year or two later, and then you're like, I've dreamt this before.
Like, I know this.
And it can't, it's just really, like, it's weird.
But it's also one of those, like, like this is a whole conversation that's just really fun because it's the type of experiences like we're at a weird hospital or something with one of the kids, and they were asking like, do you hear things that aren't there or see things that aren't there? And I started laughing, and they're like, what do you like? This is a serious question. I was like, no, we have something in our house. Like,
Yeah.
we've had stuff move, stuff disappears for a while, and then it comes back. Like it's the weirdest thing. But they're like, so you've seen stuff that isn't there? Yeah. You've heard stuff that isn't there? Yeah. You
Yeah.
do realize that we're talking about like a psych eval here. I'm like, uh-huh. So?
Yeah.
Like, I know our house is
Yeah.
haunted. Like, but it's not like a malicious
Yeah.
or a like, it doesn't have any malicious intent or anything like that. It's just,
Yeah,
I
exactly this.
think it's kind of like a grumpy old person who just, like, it moves
Yeah.
cell phones or chargers or charging ports or,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
electronic stuff and hides it.
Mm,
And,
mm, mm.
or it's a child.
No,
I don't know. It's, it's one of those.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember a while back, one of my friends said to me, oh, you know, I know that there's something in my house, and I keep hearing these boots in the it's either in the bathroom or in the hallway. And I said, can you describe them to me? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, literally, I said, and I kept seeing this trench coat, and then I saw the boots, and then I was saying to her, and then I got a couple of names, and there was it a couple of names, or was it the one? I can't remember now. But I think it might have been just one name. No, there was a second name. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember now. But yeah, so anyway, and then I come back and I give her the names and everything, and I say, these are the names I'm getting, but I says, don't know if they mean anything to you. She goes, I don't really know. And I was like, okay, fine, that's no problem. Anyway, about a month later, she comes and sees me. And she went, oh, you know those names? I went, yeah. She goes, they were my great-great-grandparents' names. I was like, no way. She was like, yeah. And he was in the war, so that's why he got the big boots and trench coats. I was like, no way, that's so cool. Like, so it was really cool that, you know, that because I didn't really know her that well, that I would know her great-great-grandparents' names or anything. But like, that was kind of cool. And that's what I mean. It's like, for me, it's not, you're not being crazy, you're just picking up on external energy, you know. I think it's, you know, and it's the same with, and honestly, I've been researching this guy called Russell Targ, who basically used to work for NASA, but basically he talks about remote viewing, and there's like a TED talk on it, and it shows like how in tune people really are with this sort of sixth sense, and they were locating bunkers for war using psychic mediums and clairvoyants. But I think a lot of them don't want it to go mainstream because, you know, there's probably a lot of secrets untold. You know,
Yeah,
so
like we want to be able to do this, but we don't want to be known for being able to do this, because then that can get, like, we need to know where this person is, go find them.
Yeah. It's a really good TED talk. If you ever get to see it, it's very cool. It's a Russell Targ. I think it's on YouTube and stuff. But oh my god! Once I watched that, I was like hooked, and then I started to watch a lot more, you know, and then read some of his books and stuff. But the thing is, what I like about him is he's a physicist as well. So it's kind of, because I like the combination of science and studying it as well.
Yeah,
which I find fascinating. You know,
it puts more of a level of like reason behind it, where like it's not that blind following type thing where you can be like, oh yeah, I believe in it, but you have no basis behind it, versus like they're showing the science behind it. But like, you can still have a belief in it. Like, I have nothing against any of that. It's just sometimes it doesn't always work out, because people are always wanting an explanation for things. Like, why?
Yeah. No, I hear you. I think it's an interesting concept, because I think with me is I've got a balance of logic, and then I've also got a balance of like you know, this kind of creative, intuitive side and everything. So I kind of like in the middle. So I like, so whenever something like this happened to me when I was younger, I was like, I need to understand this, you know. So I went purely into logic mode and started to research. I went into spiritual centers where they were sort of testing me, and because I wanted to know for myself, you know, because I was like, why is this happening? Like, I don't understand. And then, you know, I got tested on sort of clairvoyance and mediumship and all that kind of stuff, and that was great. And then I realized that it is a thing, you know, and I was getting facts right, and I was like, right, okay, so I completely believe in this now, you know, because it was just amazing. But then I had to do the whole sciencey thing as well, because that's what I'm like.
You gotta make sure you got everything straight and everything correct, and like sometimes just being like, I believe isn't always just enough for us. Like, we got to know why, or why this happens this way, or why this is happening this way. And there has to be some logical, not so much logical explanation, but like things have to line up a certain way.
Exactly this, yeah, totally. I think it's the most interesting topic, actually. I love talking about it. So
well, I think we've really talked on this topic for like 30, like half the like we've literally done like 2 different interviews here.
Tell me about it. I know. But it does tie into Lake of Dreams and the whole tarot thing there, and so, you know, it has got some relevance.
But it is fun because it shows different. Like what you were talking about with your record label and the brand, and you know, branching into all the different things. Like, we've touched on a lot of those subjects, and it's been very interesting and fascinating. And I do have one question before we'll end this interview, because I find it always fascinating and interesting. Obviously, you've been around for a while and you've met quite a few artists. Have you been starstruck when you've, like, you know, you met that one artist where you're like,
a few times, actually. Probably Ruffling for Machine Head was one, because I never expected to meet him, and that was fucking awesome. And you know, it was great. I was like, but when he was talking, I just kept seeing an MTV sign go up on the side. Like, I was like, oh my god, like, this is amazing. And we had a picture taken with him and everything, and it was cool. And then probably Tari B, and I met her twice, actually, because obviously that's somebody that was probably the first few. Tari B from My Ruin.
Yeah, Tura Santana.
Yeah. So I've met her twice. She's cool as fuck.
Oh, I bet. And, I love her music, and just like, she's what OTEP became. She was pre-OTEP.
Exactly, yeah, that's it.
And her rhymes and her flows and her, what is that song? Down. I think it was with her band Manhole that turned into Tura Santana. The song Down still applies to this day.
Yeah. I think I remember the first track I ever heard of hers was Kiss or Kill, and I was like, that's badass. It was so good. But yeah, I saw her, and she gave me some flowers, and she gave me this like necklace and everything. And we did the Pinky Promise thing that she always does. And then I saw her again, and when she came to my hometown, Leicester, and everything, she played there. And I think her and Jack and some of us were just at this kebab shop, you know, after a night out and everything. And yeah, she's great. And but there was also the third time, which was Mike Promopeth. We ended up chilling with them, having a beer and pizza and stuff. And I was just like, oh my god, this is like my favorite singer. I was just like, wow, that was so cool. And so yeah, I mean, you know, I've been starstruck a few times, to be fair, because you know, we did a lot of meet and greets back in the day, and I still, even being on tour with Insomnia, it was amazing. But it's like we do interviews all the time with, like, I don't know, Aaron Stainthorpe, and you know, we've the singer from Benighted, you know. So I've interviewed bands that, you know, like I still think, wow, I can't believe I interviewed them, you know. Like, but it's amazing. It's a great feeling. And Crowbar, another great artist, you know. Meeting them as well, they were cool. So yeah, no, there's quite a few, to be honest. I can't really just name one, but yeah, certainly.
There's those ones that like stand out more than other ones where you're like, you still have that moment where you're like, I just met so and so, but then it's like you have those ones where you're like, like you can't speak and you're just like that emotional. Because like speaking of OTEP, I ran into her one time, her and Jay and a couple of the other guys, and they were going into an IHOP the same time I was leaving. It was like, hey, you guys are an OTEP. They're like, yeah. I was like, hey, enjoy your meal. And like it just stunned them that like wasn't asking for photos or autographs. Like I realized that they're just regular people trying to get their, you know, get their food. So giving them the moment of like, hey, I know you guys, enjoy your food.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah.
But like I drove to 600 miles on a whim to be able to interview Snot, and I was able to do an interview with them in Skin Lab and Suicide Cages, and that was for me just like over the top level of like they're probably my favorite band of all time, and getting to interview them and see them, it was.
That was great.
Oh yeah, it was surreal, and then I got the ability to photograph in the venue. I was the only other person running around with a camera other than Snot's photographer. I had permission to, and I was just like completely blown away. And those guys were so cool.
Yeah. It's amazing when that happens, isn't it? It's just such a great feeling. You think, oh, amazing! I've met the people that I really, you know, inspired by, and especially if they, you know, if you get on with them as well, it's even better. It's like amazing.
Well, and I found more times than not, most all of them, as long as you treat them decent and respectful and like they're a human, it goes way further than like doing the what they call the fangirl or the fanboy moment.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100% agree. Because you might be feeling it inside, but you're kind of like going, "Hey,
okay, we gotta get through this interview." Yes, I know we're gonna cry, but we gotta get through this interview. And then like you go out and you get away from it, and you're just like, "Holy crap, that actually happened."
Yeah.
Like. Because I woke up the next day and I looked at my camera and was like, "Holy crap! I did do that interview." Huh?
Yeah.
But then I've also like a lot of them are really cool to their fans because I think at the same point in time most of them are fans as well, so they don't want to have that experience. Like some of them have said that they've met certain people that have inspired them, and then it was. You know, not the greatest meeting, which is unfortunate, but like a lot of the bands always try to treat everybody as good as possible and try to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's always an important thing of just treating each other good and being respectful and.
Exactly, yeah.
Trying to help each other out and. But I do appreciate your time. We'll probably go ahead and wrap this thing up, but it's been great chatting with you. Like I had a blast.
Yeah, it's really good. It's so great to meet you and everything, and thank you so much for the interview. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. We might have to do a follow-up one later when you get more of the albums done or get ready to release them, and then we can just solely focus on the different like that project for the whole interview rather than doing this broad spectrum and then stopping the music interview going into a paranormal interview and then stopping that one and going back into music.
Hey, it's all good. I think it makes it interesting and fun. So, I mean, like I say, it's sort of, because we cover so much, it's great.
Well, and it's also, it doesn't have that generic, like, where did you start? How long have you been doing this?
Exactly. I love these kind of questions because it takes you into a more in-depth interview about the person and what they're into and all that kind of stuff, which is great, because I'm pretty sure a lot of interviews don't even dare ask those questions. So, I'm kind of grateful that we kind of went there, because it's kind of cool.
I find it more like it's one of those, you read the room and you read where the vibe is going, and if it's one of those where it's like, it's not working, you just kind of stick to the standard questions. But if the vibe's there and everything's going good and it's a fun interview, you just how are you going to find out about an artist or find out about an experience if you don't ask? Like,
yeah, I've really enjoyed the interview. Really have. It's been great.
Well, I'm glad. That makes me feel good that I'm doing something different. So.
Yeah.
Well, you have a great rest of your day, and we will talk soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Take
Thank
care.
you.